The new Dragon Ball Super chapter reveals the ancestral Saiyan power that Goku secretly awakened during the time skip. That's right, come with me and I'll show you everything about it. During the time between the end of the Granola arc and the beginning of the superhero arc, Goku went through a period of intense training that led him to explore not only new levels of Ultra Instinct but also something even older, deeper, and more primitive, a power that lay at the core of his race, hidden in the depths of the Saiyan soul. It was then that Goku encountered traces of an ancient transformation, lost to time but etched in his blood, the same power that his father Bardock manifested by instinct years ago when facing the Heater warrior, Gas. Bardock, even without the power level that warriors like Goku and Vegeta currently possess, achieved the impossible that day. He didn't have modern transformations or mastery of Divine Ki. Yet, driven by an unwavering desire to protect, he activated a state of ancestral fury. His hair didn't change color, his eyes didn't glow like a typical Super Saiyan, but his power exploded in an inexplicable way, transcending limits through sheer will. It was the echo of the true Saiyan spirit, a raw, untamable, and pure force, and now Goku had managed to access it. During his training on Beerus's planet with Whis, between moments of calm and tests against Broly and Vegeta, Goku began to have visions. Dreams of the past, of memories that weren't his but that he felt viscerally. He saw an unknown planet, a desperate fight, and at the center of it all, the figure of his father, Bardock, engulfed in an aggressive, unstable glow, like a living flame about to devour everything. The energy emanating from Bardock seemed to pulse with the rhythm of rage, protection, and the wild identity of the warrior race. Whis, alert to the changes in Goku's ki, realized that something had awakened. It wasn't something he or the gods of the universe controlled. It came from a time before when the Saiyans had not yet been touched by divine power, a state that only manifested when a warrior's pride and instinct united for an unshakable purpose. It wasn't a Super Saiyan-style transformation or Ultra Instinct. It was beyond technique. It was an invocation of the race's original spirit. While training alone in the most desolate regions of Beerus's planet, Goku put aside any concern for the fighting styles of angels or gods of destruction. He wanted to find himself as a Saiyan. He wanted to understand what Bardock felt. He wanted to comprehend why his father defeated Gas when no one believed it was possible. It was in that moment of personal searching, of meditation under extreme gravitational pressure and internal battles that the power finally manifested. His body didn't explode in golden or silver light. There were no screams, just a drastic and silent change. His eyes shone with a raw, wild intensity, and his aura became a whirlwind of red and golden energy that seemed to burn to the touch. Goku's muscles tensed as if the power had been drawn from his very soul. It was the ancestral Saiyan transformation, a state of strength that didn't depend on divine forms, but on the essence of the first Saiyan warriors who fought with claws, fangs, heart, and fury. The power was raw, unstable, but at the same time it responded perfectly to his will. Whis observed from afar and confirmed Goku had broken a forgotten barrier. He was now in possession of a state unseen for eons, a combat mode that had been lost for generations. Living proof that the Saiyans still had much to show even in the face of gods. It was as if Goku had accessed the roots of his people, touched the core of what made him unique. And more than that, he could now understand Bardock's strength, not just as a warrior but as a father, as a symbol of protection. The new form had no name. Goku didn't even care to give it one. It was a state that manifested only when need and will became one. Upon activating it, his senses amplified, his strength surpassed any form he had ever used before, and his connection to the battlefield became instinctive, almost bestial. The energy that flowed through his body was hot and wild, unlike the cold serenity of Ultra Instinct. Goku's presence in this state was overwhelming. Vegeta, upon witnessing this transformation during a training session, was in shock. He recognized the power. It was the same one he felt on his scouter when analyzing the final recordings of Bardock's fight. A primitive, destructive, yet pure ki. Vegeta knew Goku had, for the first time, become a true warrior of legend. Not a legend of the Super Saiyans, but of the ancestral lineage, of the true titans of the battlefield. This transformation proved something even more frightening. Goku had no defined limits. Whenever it seemed like he had reached the top, something new emerged. But this time, it wasn't the result of divine training or Whis' teachings. It was something awakened from within himself, something that connected him to his father, to the forgotten history of the Saiyans, to the raw spirit of survival and overcoming that shaped his species. And by mastering this new state, Goku not only surpassed his own limits but became the greatest hope for facing future threats. a name that was already spreading through the universe: Black Frieza, a villain who had already surpassed Goku and Vegeta in his final form, and who could only be confronted with something unexpected, something even the gods had not foreseen. This ancestral form could be the key to tipping the scales, and more than that, it's a form that responds to will, not just necessity. Unlike Ultra Instinct, which requires calm, and Super Saiyan, which requires fury, this ancestral transformation demands truth, a genuine desire, a pure impulse, and that's why Bardock defeated Gas. Not because he was the strongest, but because his determination broke the logic of power. Goku now carries that same strength, not as a gift, but as a legacy. A legacy that lay dormant for generations and finally awakened at the right time. Universe 7 will need it because the darkness that approaches is not common. Black Frieza is evolving, plotting and preparing, but now Goku has something Frieza will never have: the indomitable soul of a true Saiyan warrior, awakened from the ashes of the past. And this fight, when it happens, will be the clash between the cold, calculated power of artificial evolution against the raw, pure, and ancestral power of a warrior race that never forgot its true origin. Goku's new ancestral transformation, which echoes the same primitive power awakened by Bardock in the past, did not reveal itself as an isolated and limited form. On the contrary, it became the catalyst for something even grander, a fusion of two opposite yet complementary worlds. On one side, the untamable savagery of Saiyan blood in its purest state. On the other, the transcendental serenity of Ultra Instinct. And between these extremes, Goku found the point of balance, true Ultra Instinct, where his emotions are not an obstacle but a driving force. During his training after the Granola arc, Whis let slip that the traditional Ultra Instinct, the one used by the angels, wasn't necessarily the only path. It was efficient for them, naturally unemotional beings, but Goku wasn't an angel. He was a Saiyan warrior, a being driven by empathy, rage, justice, and love. And it was precisely because of this that true Ultra Instinct, personalized and shaped by his essence, began to flourish. But with the arrival of the ancestral transformation, something unexpected happened. True Ultra Instinct began to react differently. It molded itself to the primitive state, as if the two shared a common root. The serene silver aura of Ultra Instinct began to merge with the flaming savagery of the ancestral form, creating a new form of energy, unstable, powerful, and alive. It was as if calm and fury had found a way to coexist within Goku. In this hybrid state, Goku maintained the automatic reflexes and the ability to perfectly predict movements, natural characteristics of Ultra Instinct. But now there was something more. His physical strength was exponentially greater. His endurance was brutal. His attacks carried a violence and impact that recalled the early days of the Saiyan race when they warred with worlds for pure survival. It was Ultra Instinct in its form closest to a true warrior spirit. The crucial difference was emotional control. Unlike the cold, detached version of the original Ultra Instinct, Goku now fought with feeling. He could fight with rage, with pain, with compassion, and still maintain clarity in his movements and efficiency in his attacks. This was something no other being had ever done, not even the angels, because what Goku had created was unique, a perfect dance between emotion and technique, between instinct and intelligence, between the ancient and the divine. Whis observed this fusion in awe. It was as if Goku had transcended the paths proposed by the gods. He was no longer just a mortal seeking to ascend the steps of divinity. He was building a new step, something unprecedented, impossible to predict, and Vegeta, even reluctant to admit it, recognized that this state could be the key against Black Frieza, because Frieza would not comprehend what was before him. He would not understand the power that does not bend to traditional logic. When Goku demonstrated this new state in a simulated combat against Broly, the training island was almost destroyed. His blows left trails in the air, as if reality itself was tearing at the touch of his aura. Every movement was as precise as an angel's, but carried the brute force of a demon. And this frightened even Broly, a monster of raw power, who recognized in that instant that Goku had surpassed any previous limit. This surge of power was so great that Goku could now face multiple high-level opponents at the same time without losing control. His mind remained focused, but his emotions fueled his strength. Rage, it served to increase the impact of his attacks. Love, it served as an anchor so he wouldn't get lost. Determination, it was the fuel. And fear, it no longer existed. And with this new power, Goku saw more than just a personal advantage. He knew that something greater was approaching. Black Frieza was gathering power at an absurd rate. And unlike other times, Frieza was now studying, planning, and preparing to dominate not just one universe, but all of them. He had already surpassed Goku and Vegeta after the Tournament of Power, but now, the Goku that Frieza will face is no longer the same. This new form allows Goku to exceed the limits of all previous forms, superior to incomplete Ultra Instinct, stronger than complete Ultra Instinct, much more versatile than Super Saiyan Blue or Blue Kaioken, because now he doesn't depend on techniques borrowed from the gods. He is a perfect hybrid between the ancestral legacy of the Saiyan race and the divine wisdom of the angels. And the most fascinating thing is that this transformation can only be activated when Goku is completely aligned with his purpose. It's not a technique that can be forced, nor a state that is reached with pure anger or passive meditation. It requires absolute conviction. And this makes the use of this form in combat not only destructive but inspiring. It's as if Goku's very existence screams to the universe, "I am the perfect fusion of what the Saiyans were, are, and still will be." Now, the battle against Black Frieza seems less distant. With this combined form, Goku can finally fight on equal footing against someone who has already surpassed mortal limits, but more than that, he can fight with an advantage. Because while Frieza uses cold intelligence and calculation, Goku fights with spirit, instinct, and a connection to something greater, something that is etched in the bones of his race. And when this battle comes, it won't just be a fight between good and evil, it will be the clash between artificial evolution and an unbreakable heritage. And all those who thought Goku had already reached his peak will realize that, in reality, he is only just beginning to discover the true power of being a Saiyan. The Black Frieza saga promises to be the most insane arc in all of Dragon Ball Super's history, with the most calculated and deadly villain they have ever faced, now mastering a power that surpasses the gods of destruction. The tension is at unprecedented levels. Frieza is no longer the arrogant tyrant of the past. He has returned with a sharp intellect, strategic patience, and an ambition that knows no bounds. Now, facing a Goku who has awakened an ancestral power and fused it with true Ultra Instinct, the clash transforms into an ideological war. Coldness against emotion, absolute control against natural impulses, the dominating spirit against the indomitable essence of the Saiyans. Watching this confrontation unfold will be simply insane. Each blow between Goku and Black Frieza carries not just strength but history. Each scene will be marked by revelations, plot twists, and epic transformations. And the most electrifying thing is that now, unlike other times, Goku is ready to fight not just with technique but with everything he is, the son of Bardock, a warrior of Universe 7 and the last heir of a lineage that never gives up. The stage is set for one of the most explosive and emotional confrontations Dragon Ball has ever given us. So, what did you think of all this? And don't forget to like the video. Thank you all so much for your support, and until next time.